Hello, Year 11. It's Mr. Drew. Welcome to your history lesson. And I'm going to start by saying thank you very much, all of you who submitted your work yesterday. It was really encouraging and just great to see that you guys have been able to pick up the work, do it thoroughly, and submit it back to me, all in good time. I have printed the work that I've been sent. I will hole punch it so that when you are back in school, you can attach it into your books. I know some people had issues with the IT. Please email me and we can resolve those issues together. If for any reason you're finding it difficult to do your work, please let me know as well. Let me know if you haven't got a good workspace to use, or you're having trouble with the internet or anything like that, okay? Please let me know and we can find a way to help you out. So, yesterday was all about migration, specifically to do with Irish migrants. That's one large group that have contributed to Britain and shared in the trials and tribulations and also the successes of Britain. But as you saw, the Irish migrants weren't often treated well. They had challenging lives, impoverished lives as well, and they faced a lot of hostility and challenges of their own. And today we're going to look at a separate group who are also important to the history of Britain, who also migrated here and contributed, and that is Jewish migrants. Before we do that, please open a Microsoft Word document. I'm really pleased with the format that people sent their work in yesterday. Let's do that again. Open a Microsoft Word document, put your name at the top, put today's date, 16th of October 2020, and your title, simply Jewish Migration to Britain. Pause now and do that. And the first thing to do is actually to give you a background in Jewish migrants to Britain. Please can you put these in chronological order, oldest to newest, please. And then once you've done that, see if you can do this challenge, 15 words or less. Explain how the population of Jews in Britain changed between 1290 and 1891. So pause the video here and do those two tasks now, please. Moving on. Can you put down this first subtitle? Case study number 1. Why did Jews from Eastern Europe migrate? Why did Jews from Eastern Europe migrate? I've given you the scans of the textbook. Please let me know if you're able to access those easily, and we can do the work thoroughly and properly. Underneath this subtitle, read New Jewish Migration on page 244, and using the first paragraph, which begins in the 1870s and 1880s, write down why Jews migrated from Eastern Europe. Use the key words and facts that you find. For instance, you will see language such as pogroms, details such as Tsar Alexander II in 1881, and the results between 1881 and 1914, around 120,000 Jews arrived in Britain, many fleeing from extreme persecution. Please write down your answer. Why did Jews from Eastern Europe migrate? And just a caveat, a warning, please do not copy out the paragraph, write it in your own words. Pause the video here and do that. 5 minutes. Okay. Second case study. Write this down. Number 2. What were Jewish lives like in Britain? I'd like you to keep reading on page 244 and read what life was like. You will see the next paragraph begins, however, apart from their faith, these new refugees had little in common with Jews already living in Britain. Read that paragraph and the next paragraph, which begins, the new immigrants mainly took on 3 kinds of work. Read those 2 paragraphs and explain why the refugees found life difficult in Britain, and then explain what you understand a sweatshop to be. A sweatshop is something that we come across these days. It was in the news recently. Sweatshops were closed down and people who owned them were arrested. Can you find and write down what a sweatshop is? And again, 5 minutes, pause the video here and do that. Final case study. Your subtitle number 3, Marks and Spencer and Tesco, which I don't think anyone could have expected to be learning about this lesson. However, here we are. While many Jews suffered in Britain, some prospered. And this is your next task. Write down this new subtitle, Marks and Spencer and Tesco. Go to the top of page 245 and read about the success of Michael Marks and Tom Spencer and T.E. Stockwell. Write down who these people were, and Jack Cohen as well. Write down who these people were and explain what was different about their experiences to the average, normal Jewish refugee from Eastern Europe. Okay? 5 more minutes. Pause the video here and do that. So your next task is going to be a source analysis. You will have this in Show My Homework. You can either, if possible, print this off and annotate it by hand and keep hold of it. Or I do not mind if you simply type on your Microsoft Word document the questions, what can you see in the source, what is useful about this source for learning about Jewish migration to Britain, and type your answers underneath those subheadings. I will then print off this source and we can attach it with your work at a later date. This source is an engraving of Wentworth Street in Whitechapel in 1872. We know that Whitechapel was full of people who had migrated from around the world, and it was crowded, it was impoverished, it was a very hard, difficult place to live. And this picture shows that it was not only poor Jews, but other immigrants from Ireland, India, and Germany. And you can see this typical scene as this man engraved. He would have gone to the street, had a look at people living there, and made a sketch in his sketchbook, gone home, and then made it into this more long-lasting etching. And here is what I want you to do. Label the image first with what you see. The children, the parents, the kind of clothes that they're wearing, the things that they're doing, the crowdedness, the activity, okay? As much as you possibly can. Step 2, you cannot do at this point, but maybe you have someone at home and they might spot something that you haven't spotted. So have a chat with somebody. Step 3, write down your own knowledge. Write down your own knowledge that confirms what's going on in part of the source. So you've read about the migrants, you know their conditions from the textbook. Can you write that down on your document wherever it is supported or supports the image that is given. Finally, step 4, write down what makes this source useful. What can we learn from it about Jewish migration? What are the useful things we see here that help us to learn? Pause this video here, give yourself 5 minutes roughly, and do that. And finally, the end of your lesson is some exam practice. Your task is to write down what makes the source useful. Okay? You've done this for your previous lessons. Okay? I think from what I've seen, from the things that you sent in, that you are all very much in command of how to analyse a source. Okay? So please answer that question. What makes this source useful for learning about Jewish migration to Britain? Use the hints that I put in the last videos from yesterday's lesson to help you with any sentence structure or writing. Your answers that you wrote should help you as well, because they're all thorough and well written. And then finally, try this question. In what ways were Jewish and Irish migration to Britain similar? And that should have at least 2 paragraphs. Write a similarity in each paragraph. Okay? Don't try to cram it all into one paragraph. And don't split talking about Jews in one and the Irish in the other. Write the similarity in each paragraph. Okay. Pause that video here. Do those 2 questions. That'll take you 20 minutes. And that will be your full 50-minute lesson. Okay? And I look forward to getting all of your work sometime later on today. Take care of yourselves, boys. I do hope that I will see you all back here well and safe next Thursday. Bye.